Welcome to Women's Rugby Rundown 161 for July 8th through the 14th. Sweden won the European Trophy Series and will be promoted to the championship with Georgia next season. Traci accepted Mike Tolkin's U.S. Rugby Hall of Fame award. USA South clinched their third RAN Women's 15s tournament title undefeated, while Mexico made history with their first international test match, defeating Trinidad and Tobago. Barbados defeated the Cayman Islands in a non-test match. In the final round of the Women's Six Nations Under-20s Summer Series, France took the title. Canada defeated the USA in the Under-20s Transatlantic Quad Series opener, and we round up all of the global premier and club competitions worldwide. Ready for a journey through the latest in women's rugby? This is your Women's Rugby Rundown, and we're about to kick off. Let's start with some sevens news. Sweden won the European Trophy Series and will be promoted to the championship along with Georgia next season. The last team for the Women's Rugby Sevens Paris 2024 Olympics has been announced as teams make their departure this week. Of course, the women's competition July 28th through the 30th. And here's our pools. New Zealand leads Pool A, Australia leads Pool B, and Pool C is France the host. Since Mike is still recovering from his liver transplant surgery, Traci and family, we were able to go down to the U.S. Rugby Hall of Fame and accept this award on his behalf. Traci actually did the acceptance, and happy to just be there in place with all of those wonderful nominees. Congratulations to all the inductees and special award winners this year. The Asia 7 Series will feature teams from Japan, Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, and Kazakhstan with 3 stops this year. They'll be in Korea September 7th through 8th, China September 21st to the 22nd, and Thailand November 9th through the 10th. Now switching over to 15s news, USA South clinched their third RAN Women's 15s tournament title with an undefeated run. You can see the other scores where we had matches between Trinidad and Tobago, USA South, Mexico, USA South. And in the first international in the history of Mexican rugby for the women, they defeated Trinidad and Tobago 27-0. We echo Scrum Queen's thoughts here that Rugby America's region, the North region, does need a pathway to the Rugby World Cup. They don't currently have one, with Mexico revitalizing their program. And then we also saw a non-test match in the Caribbean where the Barbados defeated the Cayman Islands 31-23 over the weekend. There truly are teams there, and if we can fold them into the existing South American structure, just needs to have a pathway for all teams to make it fair. In the final round of the Women's Six Nations Under-20s Summer Series, Ireland, Italy, and France secured wins. France took the overall title. This is the second time they've beaten this English side. When England, the Red Roses, were prompting that they would have a totally different side. It would be a bigger challenge. Well, you can see that score line. So the future looking bright for these young teams, and it's so exciting to see this event, and we hope it continues every year. Now that series, the Women's Six Nations Series, is done, the Transatlantic Quad Series, first time this has ever happened, has picked up. They had their first match July 14th between those non-Women's Six Nations teams. Canada defeated the USA 23-10, with matches to follow on July 19th and July 24th, where England, USA, Wales, and Canada will play their matches. The Black Ferns defeated Australia 62-0 with 10 tries unanswered to retain the Laurie O'Reilly Cup. The French Development Agency and Rugby Africa are launching an ambitious women's rugby development program in Africa, supported by the French Rugby Federation from July 9th to 19th in Lome, Togo, with the theme Developing Women's Rugby and Promoting Social Cohesion. More news from Asia Rugby. The Women's Division 1 will be held in India from December 13th to 21st, featuring India, Malaysia, and the United Arab Emirates, with Malaysia and the UAE making their debut. And finally, in Premier and Club news, Centro-Oeste celebrated its third Brazilian Women's Championship with a 27-5 win over Sao Paulo Capital, repeating last year's finals matchup. The Sharks climbed into the top 4 of South Africa's Premier Division, while Sauerland Bullen Dames lost ground for semifinal hosting rights after a home defeat to the Bulls Daisies in round 12. That does it for us this week. There's a couple of articles on our site at ycrugby.com, along with a couple media and some rugby jobs, lots this week. Always catch every episode by subscribing on Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and of course on social media.